Whew, man, I'm shaking. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, I need some coconut water. Okay, we're just waiting on YouTube. Let me make sure the rest of them are on. Okay, welcome everybody on the live and replay. My voice is shaking. It's been a powerful, powerful weekend. Wow, you're already on the 21st. And let me just a couple of quick announcements. We're live on 14 platforms. I mentioned this on every show because it's important. David I canceled November 18th because he canceled all shows or all interviews through the end of the year because he was exhausted. But he's coming back on. He's scheduled for a time and date in early January, and we're going to put the post out a couple days beforehand. If anything happens, all of these shows, when they're posted at the appointed times, can be watched on soulgnetwork.com. So I just want everybody to know that, and I also want to thank everybody for your continued love and support and contributions that allow us to keep doing this every single day. It's a miracle that we can do this every day, and it's because of all of you. We've got my beautiful, beloved sister, Yvania from Tasmania is in the house. There's so many synchronicities and validations that go with her being on today. She was on a year ago today. That ought to tell you something. But I thought we'd start the show with this incredible thing she did about a year ago. And it was her first time to pick up the guitar, I think, in 4 years. And she wrote this song, and it's just fucking amazing. So let's watch this, allow people time to come in, and then we will come back, and hopefully my voice will stop shaking. Here we go.
Came from the golden sun, born into creation, with love as my witness. I am human. Holy Father, Sacred Mother, I'm a child of a son. And all the unraveling and all the unfurling through the shadows of self has led me back home. Yeah, I rode the dragons and I tamed the lions and looked in the mirror till it shattered and fell. Yeah, I am the hero that took the fool's journey out on the front lines with nothing but love in my gun. Came to carry the threefold flame, be a pillar upon this plane, rebirth divine, human template. And all the unraveling and all the unfurling through the shadows of self just led me back home. Yeah, I rode the dragons and I tamed the lions and looked in the mirror till they shattered and fell. Yeah, I am the hero that took the fool's journey out on the front lines. Nothing but love in my gun. Yeah, I was a fallen, and now I am risen, and my cup runneth over. I drink from the holy grail. Da 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 da. I came from the golden sun, born into creation, with love as my witness. I am human. Holy Father, sacred Mother, I'm a child of the sun, here to co-create a new world, co-create a new world, co-create a new universe, co-create a new world. Co-create a new world. New world.
Well, thank you for joining us today. That's our show, because there's nothing else can be said. I'm still shaking. My voice is still shaking. Somebody said they were glad that they didn't go to sleep. It's 2 a.m. and they saw the show come up. It's going to be something extra special, I feel. I feel the same way.
I feel a bit shaky too.
What's that?
I feel a bit shaky too.
I know. It's I looked down at the computer. I realized it's 12/20/2020 or 2012/2020, depending on what part of the world, how you read those dates. And we did a show 1 year ago today, which I'm sure is relevant to us doing a show today, because I don't normally do shows on Sundays. And we've had a lot of synchronicities. I know that through the last couple of years, when Morgan and I go through something huge, you seem to be doing it always at the same time as well. So there's a lot of synchronicities and validations, and yeah, she looks stunning today, doesn't she? Absolutely stunning. Last night, late at night, I went to the convenience store, and I was about to check out, and the guy said, "Do you want anything else?" And I said, "Give me one of those cigars." And I don't even know why I said it. So I grabbed a couple of cigars, and I just told Morgan about 10 minutes ago, now I know why I got the cigar, because the golden child's been born.
Yes. It has, totally. And perfect to play that song, because that encapsulates, if I could convey it even more, that what we are, and what we've embodied, what we have rebirthed into. And yeah, everybody I think that I've spoken to has been really feeling some really intense energies leading up to this particular time, because it's that beginning point, that really in the 0 point of it all, it's like, how can I explain it the way I see it? I did a little diagram this morning.
Let me increase the size of it. You got it?
Yeah. So I don't know.
Hang on. Let me do this. Hang on. There we go.
That's a bit. You can see the toroidal field, and
Yeah, it looks like a vertical infinity with the toroidals in each sphere, and then a heart in the middle, 0 point.
yeah. So before, like for millennia, we've been running on, say, in this source here. This is where source, you could say, flows down. You could say we've been on like how the toroidal field flows, right? On the outside comes down through the middle. You could say that our source was being utilized by another source, right? To power up this whole shebang. And what I saw really clearly and felt through last time we spoke about this last year was that change in, so we came from the inside out. We had to come from the inside out. So that source that we were running through the middle with all that we are not running through the outside, and then coming through, powering up this with our infinity spark, right? Coming through the middle, we had to come through the middle for that 0 point, which is that point of creation, and also the point that will move time and space, push it back to manifest a reality or a dimension or whatever you want to call it. Hopefully I'm explaining this in some sort of sense, but really it will speak to the body. So coming from that inside out to find that 0 point. Now we come from the outside in. So we have our own source flow that's running perfectly. And that we've had like a changing of the guard. So that source that used to be running on us, it's now the opposite. So now we're the outside in. So we're flowing through that other source, collapsing, dismantling, if you like, that whole thing. And for a lot of people that are, last time we talked about the future self being embodied. Last year we talked about it as source self, the entry of the source self into, that's what this solstice was, is about. So going back into the very beginning of the creation or manifestation of this dimensional experience, going right into that 0 point is where we are, and rebirthing from this space. And we haven't had anything like this before in the body. So, we've talked about all this sort of stuff for years, but to reach the point, to reach that 0 point of our rebirth is something really incredible, absolutely phenomenal. The changes that are afloat, the changes that are coming with that are incredible. And it'll make it a hell of a lot easier for everybody to dismantle and eradicate everything that we're not. It'll also stir up a lot, but it won't be such a mind thing. It'll just be a very clear, that's not me, that's not who I am, and moving on and responding to our own nature, because we've been in reaction mode since that beginning, since when that distortion started. We've been in reaction mode, reacting to everything that isn't us, and now we get to respond to everything that is us. And responding to our own frequency and our own energy is something that creates worlds, manifests. That's how we do it naturally. We respond to our own energy and we utilize our own energy, and we don't really think about it. We just do it because that's the way our body flows and our own frequency flows as part of the fabric of who we are. So shifting from reacting to responding is a noticeable shift within the body that you can feel, and you'll get to pull yourself up and say, I'm reacting. It feels different in the body. It holds, when you react, you're sort of holding an energy. And when you respond, you're moving through it, and you're sort of transforming, if you like, transmuting, whatever.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I can see what you're saying though, because like from the inside, it's crazy. Like prior to this happening, things were presented to us or occurred, or we experienced them and we reacted. So we met that energy, and that was what perpetuated it. And then what you're saying is we came from the inside out. So it's like the chicken and the egg. Were we raising our frequency, then the universe matched us, or was it always behind the veil and we found it within ourselves, and then it eradicates and removes the veils?
Yeah.
There's, such a buildup since 12/12. I mean, I just saw somebody made a comment about birthing something and nausea. And, I had nausea. Morgan had nausea. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on. And for me, the best way I can put this is I had about 3 or 4 days of, paying homage to the false masculine. I started to see all the things that he did and why he did them. If you got past, beneath the fear-based actions and thoughts, and you saw what he did, going to war, his devotion to her, of course, got distorted. Everything got distorted, but that never left. And I just gained this. It was crazy. It was like this newfound respect. I thought the false masculine was going to leave. I'm not using the word distorted masculine. For some reason, it came down like, don't use that word. It was just the false masculine, and it's not leaving. It's transforming. So that's the way I would explain it. I saw that nothing, no energy is destroyed. It just transforms. And I guess for me, this told me that the full divine masculine, full divine king energy was available and accessible. And it kind of topped it off, was that there's a movie called Pearl Harbor. It was Ben Affleck and a bunch of really famous people. And so we started watching it last night, to process and just, kind of like chill through this thing. And I've never had this problem in my whole life. I'm not real big on war movies. I'm not, I don't really have a preference. I can watch pretty much anything. So I'm watching the bombing of Pearl Harbor scenes, and it goes on for, probably 20, 30 minutes. And about 15 minutes into it, I could not sit there anymore. Like, it's kind of like you can't be sarcastic, anymore, because there's a grain of superiority or inferiority, or, there's something imbalanced about being sarcastic, something I worked on going back a couple of years. So this was the same thing. It's like, I can't sit here and watch this, because every time I see one of these men kill or be killed, and then it's celebrated, that I'm done. I'm done with that. There's this new power that needed to fully complete itself so that he could meet her. And therefore, the way I saw it was, this baby's brought in, and he is a legitimate, fully responsible king energy. And that's, I don't know why that happened, but I had a fire ceremony last night for a few hours, and it was dimensional, and it was mind blowing. It was absolutely mind blowing. But so
That's beautiful. The whole
Yeah.
The whole thing, and that, you know, that false masculine is really what we've been talking about, reaction mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and when you're in reaction, you're a victim, and you're,
Yeah, that's right.
you know, you're always fighting for something, or fighting against something.
Yeah.
Um,
There is no fight, right?
when you're responding, you're not in that victim mode at all.
Yeah.
And you get to transform, and you get to move with what it is that you desire, you know, in that moment. So it's perfect. And then the fire ceremony, you know, that 0 point, that that gap, that's the flame, you know, that perfect reflection of the flame of, you know, when we say the threefold flame, it's like the coming together of sources to create a 0 point flame that is just pure awareness.
Yeah.
Whether, and there's no any right or wrong. It just is pure awareness in that moment. It's what you do after the stepping off point that is going to determine whether you react or respond in whatever it is that, you know, people have agendas. They do. Some beings have agendas, and I guess we do too, because our agenda is to experience a positive way of life here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's okay too, you know.
There's you know, you see it play out. We've all done it so many different ways. It looks so different, but you're right. You're either fighting for something or fighting against something. And one of the things that came to me 2 nights ago was you became what you fought, basically. And I called it the father's template. But I said that as meaning the patriarchal. I was just told don't use that word. It was really like the false father's template. Still the father, it's still the divine father, but this was the way it played out. And I realized how what you're saying is so true, because whether it's a fist fight or somebody makes a comment to you on a post or whatever, you engage that energy. You become that energy. And so I became all of that. And I think part of the reason I couldn't watch that war movie was because so many. I've had a lot of galactic memories in regard to um, the dance between dark and light, but not so much in physical incarnation memories. But I had a lot of them over the last couple of days. A lot killed a lot. Was killed. Did things that I would never think I would do, but I did because I became what I was fighting, and that includes the sins that are now washed away, as I was told. These are hereby no more. They're transformed, but these are things that the masculine energy carried, and I'm talking about all that stuff. Not just killing, but rapes, things that we did because they were done to us, and it has to stop. And it can only stop like what you started the show with that picture and the explanation of it changed on the inside. So I don't know. I feel that I don't understand. I've had many divine or sacred union experiences with Morgan, and I know that that's reflective of the collective energy. But something's happened today, and I know that the divine union, sacred union, has been fully achieved, and that this child, this golden child energy, has been birthed, and I can't really explain it. All I can do is shut
You
the
can
fuck
feel
up.
it. You
Huh?
can feel it. Yeah, you can feel it. It's
Mhm. Yeah.
and it's not just us, it's not
No.
just our own
No.
golden sun that we are. It's it's all the planets. It's our sun. It's the alignment is just perfect and so potent. And you know, whatever you put in this space, it's an instant moving through to the next. Like, you think of something, right? Or you feel something, I should say. Wouldn't that be awesome if?
Yeah.
And then the next minute, it's here. Just
Exactly.
like in a couple of incredible, like, it's just been, and I don't even get surprised anymore. It's like, of course it's just come in, you know, of course, because it feels different too. You're not wanting from a space of thinking or lack. You're actually just feeling and almost yeah, that'll be awesome. And then you feel the way it feels, and you just let that go. You don't even think about it again. And then the next minute, it's here.
Exactly. That's true. And Morgan and I were talking about it yesterday, and it was because I had did 2 shows, I think 3 days ago, and in between shows I just knew, because I didn't know what I just told you about the masculine part. It was all like like Tetris. It was all like, you know, it wasn't all fused or aligned. And I said, I got to get a fire pit. You know, I've got to go get a fire pit. She's like, no, we might hold off on that. And but I knew I needed to do this so I could pull this in and align it and understand it. I just knew, you just know it intuitively. So the next morning I get up and this friend of mine texts me that lives here in Fort Smith. And she said, I have a gift for you. Because I laid on the couch, because we had a long night the night before. I laid on the couch. She was coming by at noon. I had a show at 1. And I get a knock at the door. She said, let's go downstairs. I've got something for you in the back. And she had brought a fire pit. My friend had bought a fire pit with logs and the whole 9 yards. And so we were talking about that. And of course, we've had many other occurrences like that. But this is very true, because even though these might seem like trivial little episodes, they're totally indicative of what's occurred already previously in the energetic. And now it's starting to, instant manifestation is no longer something that's going to come down the road. It's happening all the time now.
It is, and it's that driving force of that feeling of our own nature that's really overridden and overwritten everything. And so it's sort of just a natural thing to do, and it just happens, you know. And it's like, you know, in the old days, you'd think, oh, you know, when you had a really good run in life and everything was going well, and you'd think, I wonder when the bubble's going to burst.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's not even a thought. It's just, you know, this occurred to me the other day, and I was like, this is just awesome. I'd say the last year, you know, for me, but especially the last few months, I would say. And that thought, it just never even pops in. It's just like it never bursts, and it just gets better and better and better and better. And the joy and the inspired action and the inspiration and that creative energy. Yeah, I'm just going nuts with it. I can't get enough of it. And it's like just being on a roll, constantly responding to the next thing, you know. But I've been spending a lot of time in nature, you know, with my food forest, which is coming along awesome.
Your what?
My food forest, yeah. It's really flourishing and just being out in nature every day. And I live amongst nature as well, in rainforest, really. Yeah. And yeah, just to feel that collective gathering of our own frequency throughout nature as well. It's like a chorus, it's like a celebration. And, you know, let's all break out the cigars and you know, celebrate this time, because it's really something that, you know, we've all just done such an incredible job just to get through what we have, you know. And it's not as though we're not going to be challenged, because, you know, there are going to be more challenges and more intense, but once again, we're learning to respond instead of react. So next year, I'm calling it the year of response, because we're going to start responding for the first time in our own nature, and start to say, well, this is what humanity as a whole, as a heart-centered humanity, are going to respond to, and we won't be reacting to anything that is not part of our own nature. It's like we're actually in the driver's seat here.
Yeah.
So this is how it's going to come about. This is what we want. This is our vision. This is our planet. This is our experience, and this is what we're going to respond to.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how we respond to the global and collective events, that have been catalyst, and it's there's no more fight. So there's no more fight. I mean, this means that there is nothing to fight for and nothing to fight against. And as long as we take a position that there is, those things will continue to exist. But I fully believe that people are throwing their hands up in the air. I've heard too many people talk about it in the last 2 months. People talking about at work, my friend that brought over the fire pit, she's in the military. Well, she's got a civil service job for the military full time, and she's a major in the Army Reserves. So 25 days a month, she's in a military environment, which you would think is, very much a patriarchal template. And I asked her, how's everything going? She said, you would not believe the people at work that are talking about things that you never thought they would have talked about. Like they're waking up. She's just amazed. So I think that's a great title for next year. Franco says 2021 is the year of disclosure, but obviously we're multifaceted. I think there is going to be a lot of disclosure, and the response that you're talking about, I don't think anything, can change what we're all experiencing together as much as having that type of approach versus reaction.
And the type of things, just to add on to what you were saying about fighting for and fighting against, because the things that are going to come up for response are going to be very challenging. And it's going to be a matter of, if you went into reaction mode, you would want to fight for. You would want to fight tooth and nail for. The response to what we will be exposed to, presented with, right, will force us into responding from an inspired action place. So it's a different thing. It's, what does this inspire within me, this that is being presented? So it's going to be a different type of action.
Yeah.
And whatever action that brings for you, and as always, we check inside, is, how am I polluting my body? For an example, if we're going to come up against a lot of DNA stuff next year. So that's cleaning up that area first, and then taking inspired action so that we can respond to that energy and move through that, clear that agenda out of our future.
Yeah.
And technology, as well as another one, technology is so useful, and it can also be not useful at all to us. So once again, it's that inspired action. And when we use technology, when, as our heart-centered selves, when we use it, it's a beautiful thing. We can communicate, we can share frequency, we can be expressive in our art, and the other side of that coin is not so positive, so responding more with using technology for our benefit, which we've been doing pretty well so far, despite all the censorship and all the stuff that goes with that. But yeah, I mean, going mainstream, this sort of thing, it's going mainstream, and next year is going to be awesome. But here we are still with these few linear days left of this year, and
don't underestimate the last 11 days.
Yeah, we're going a little bit nuts here again in our country, out there with what's going on. And I think, I don't really follow the news, but it comes into my peripheral every now and then, and it seems like that there's that surge happening all around. So it's not just us, but it's an interesting time right now to have that surge again. Days outside of, that time where family and friends spend their time together.
Yeah. Have you noticed any difference in personal relationships, general relationships, and intimacy? Yeah. You want me to go first? Woo. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer that. Or you just say yeah. Is that what you said? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There's just zero room for anything other than connection.
Yeah.
Of the heart.
Yeah. No program.
Yeah. It's sort of, just, and that's just how it is now. It's just zero tolerance, zero room, no frequency support for anything other than love. It's that easy. And joining in, you don't even really need that interaction as much. It's like such an intimate act just to even speak to someone now, or to be in someone's presence. It's like, it feels like you're physical, just naked, and sharing this incredible moment together of highs and lows and love, and the whole thing. So I've had some interactions just like we are now, and it's like you just feel like, I don't know who's beginning, who's ending, who's who he is. Just like,
yeah, right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's a perfect explanation. Your drawing too, and your explanation, I think, is a perfect explanation too, because if we're coming from the outside in now, and you got two people, right, or two or more people, and like you said, you don't know if it's coming or going. Like it's weird. It's like an inverted infinity sign. It's like multi beyond 3D infinity sign, because it's all of those spiral, all that toroidal. There's multi lines between us, and they're just out to in to out to in.
Yeah.
And you don't know where it starts and where it stops.
Yeah. And then in the middle of all of that, in that meeting point, it's like you've gone from huge multi-dimensional into no dimensional, and then back out again. And you feel that space where there are no dimensions. It's just that space. We know, a lot of us know that space. It's just, it's an incredible space to be in.
Yeah, and
but
I think
there, we're not meant to stay there. We're expressive beings.
Right. And the thing you said about relationships too is that Holy Spirit or that non-physical energy, and maybe it was the golden child when the golden child was in the womb, and it's just going to expand now. But the universal energy, it's not supporting anything in the old way. And so the core of that, or one of the cores of that, is relationships, human interaction, two people, two or more people, and things will happen. You've seen some separations, permanent, temporary. You've seen a lot of that going on.
Yeah, a
I
hell
don't
of a
know
lot. Yeah.
exactly, and I don't know what that's going to look like in terms of the collective experience. And I'm talking about in terms of the things that are being recreated, institutions and rules and regulations and whatever it is, because they're in the same boat. If we're doing it on an individual level and we're choosing to align with that universal flow, which is what we're doing, then it's going to follow suit. And I think it's going to happen quickly. People keep saying 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. I mean, that number has gotten smaller since I started doing this show. People used to talk about 2050 and 2075. And I thought, oh, fuck, I'm not going to be here when it goes down. And now it's like 2-3 years. But look how much ground we covered in 2020. Can you imagine what January 2021 is going to do? I mean, like, we know that every year we've had since 2012 has been bigger and bigger and bigger.
Oh,
And
yeah.
now we've got this full online reciprocation of universal energy, providing that instant manifestation and supporting the Trinity energy and dismantling the duality energy. I mean, this is a phenomenal moment. Like
Yeah,
you said.
it's absolutely phenomenal. And I think that, the more we detach, the more we just naturally are our own flow, and we do what we do naturally without thinking about it first. The other stuff and the other frequency detaches, plays out its own play, so the separation, how it's appeared to me and felt to me is a definite separation of realities, because that 0 point, it pulls back that reality and makes a space in, one sort of toroidal goes off that way, the other one's that way. It's not our trajectory to be in that. So, it's just some beings are not here for what we're doing, others are. And relationships are always such a beautiful micro example of what's happening out there, But certainly that victim went through a huge collapse before this week, the last couple of months or so. It was that huge clear out of that victim mentality to make room for who you are, who you really are. It's so in your face when you see the victim now, if you see it in front of you, people are still reacting like that. And it's quite funny because it's like watching a child who's spoiled, and it's just, you don't even want to entertain it or look at that sort of behavior. You just want to sort of go, really? Can you not see that you're in total victim mode?
You don't even have to say it though. Now, I mean, it's like, because it's becoming obvious to everybody. I wonder if it's what I feel like what you were explaining about responding. Because it's quantum and doesn't take years and years and years. You're right. The last couple of months have been about the end of victim consciousness. And that it's becoming second nature. Like, we don't have to, like you were saying, we don't have to go, okay, what do I do here? I need to choose myself first, and I still need to, service to self, others, and the collective. But it's like, is it becoming second nature? like riding a bike or driving a car. Like it's already moved that quick. That's what I'm feeling. Like I don't have to think about it. And you're right, it is funny. And we've all had this happen, some victim consciousness being directed at you, and you just kind of go, wow, but I just kind of leave it there. Leave it there, let it go.
Yeah. And just, just being who we are, just being that, I don't even want to say example, but just being who you are and responding.
Yeah.
And it really lifts everything around. If nobody reacts and your response to that energy is just silence, and then it inspires a joyful comment or something like that, that is so much louder than reacting and going into an argument or something like that,
It's very powerful.
Yeah.
Very, very powerful. And it's become more powerful because the telepathy is clearer. It's true. I mean, today we got up a little, like right after noon or whatever, because it was a long night again, and we didn't say anything the whole day hardly. I mean, I came in and cracked a joke once or twice, but there's so much stability and balance in silence.
Yeah.
And silence to me doesn't mean that you don't talk. It just means that you're not talking about irrelevant old shit, like it's just being, like being with yourself and being with whoever you're interacting with at the moment.
Yeah. There's regurgitation, and then there's creative, inspiration. You want to be in regurgitation constantly when you can be in creative responsing or whatever.
I'll tell you something else that was really significant to me, and it may offer somebody something. Last night when I was doing the fire ceremony, so I did the fire ceremony for a couple of hours, and then I went upstairs, and Morgan and I hung out for 2-3 hours, and that was incredible. And then I had to get up, I was like, and we were both laughing because neither one of us had to vomit last night. Because with the energy's been so strong when it comes in. So I came back down and I went up a notch, and I found myself sitting in council, and I don't use that term loosely, but sitting in council with the trees. And they started talking to me, and I was very aware that there were nature beings, there was the elementals, the fays, Elvis, the elders, of course, the wind and all the nature elements. And they told me that they reminded me that 9.5 years ago when I reawoke, that my first day and a half I spent with the trees. I mean, like in dimension, which I never really consciously had that type of experience, never knowing really what it fully meant. But I always appealed to the trees in difficult times and when I had prayer to throw up and so on. So last night they brought me into the circle and they said, "You are one of us." And I went, well, yeah, I get this now. Like it came full circle. They said it's completed. I ask Morgan sometimes, God, you've downloaded all this stuff for 15, 20 years. How does it feel now that it's actually happening? And I've talked to other people on the show, but they're like coming from a galactic. But this was very, very organic. And they explained to me, which I don't know if this means for everybody, but I think there's got to be some relevance to it. They explained to me that you are your earth experience, your earth aspects are as much a part of you in this moment as all the other timelines, dimensions, and aspects you've ever had combined. Like this is a seminal moment. This is the moment when this realm changes the universe forever through its alchemy, through its transformation. and is literally not only bringing in a new family into the universal family, but also new opportunity for growth and expansion. Like we're pioneers, basically. And so they were very excited and happy and celebratory. And I just thought it was interesting because there was no galactic involvement at all, none. It was, and been a long time since anything like that's happened. But it made me see the plant kingdom, animal kingdom, elemental, all the of Earth um, family was celebrating. We did it. We've done it.
Yeah, I love that. I haven't had anything galactic for a long time. I don't know how long, but it would be months and months, maybe along,
Yeah.
but just coming into my own nature and really connecting with my own DNA and my own background, if you like,
Yeah.
my own makeup. All that sort of collapsed, and I'm more connected with the nature of the earth, the cosmic nature, the elementals, and the makeup of humanity, as nature. And the rest of the stuff kind of just collapsed into some sort of dimensional realm.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with it or right with it, but that's what happened for me. And it's just to feel my own nature fully for the first time, just constantly. It's so beautiful, and not so busy with dimensional experiences or beings from, say, outer space. It's just it's just this natural, just nature, just a full force of nature in all its wonder and fullness and expression and fluidity and change and seasons,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Seasons. Yeah. Yeah. Like I remember several months ago, Morgan said, I said, "Oh my God, we're getting deeper and deeper into these dimensional experiences when we go to sleep, when we lay down at night." I said, "I'm pretty sure they're going to materialize fully." She said, "No, they're not." I was like, "What?" She's like, "We're them now." Like in other words, what you're describing is what she was calling. She was saying, and this is what's happened to us, is we've become in the flesh, all of that, and we're going to start seeing each other in that way beyond words. Another thing that I just remember too, that I know I'm supposed to say, with this whole thing with the transformation of the false masculine to the divine masculine energy, is so Mother Earth was with me last night, which doesn't happen a lot to me. It's happened maybe a handful of times in 9.5 years where she comes in. And she said it's important to understand, like her daughters already got it. They got it. And so they're in sync, and they would be, let's say, more likely to recycle. And that's probably not a great, but you know what I mean? All in the literal everyday stuff and the spiritual, energetic stuff, they're aligned with it. And she said to me that this point could not have been reached until the masculine energy reached this point of completion, because she needs him to protect her, and not in the old warrior way, and to care for her, and love her. And
to respond to her.
yes. Yeah. Yes. And I think that was a big deal.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
You think about the impact that would have, like watching that movie last night, right? Like even if the prospect of war and to have a true king energy, a masculine energy alongside that feminine that comes and says, we can't drop bombs on the earth. We can't shoot people. I mean, I know it sounds, but I don't care. This is absolutely necessary that energy came into alignment with her.
That's it had to, Well, I was having a conversation with Michael, I think it was last week or the week before, and we were talking about this war energy, this warrior thing and what it's done and how it's, affected so deeply the psyche of everything, and how, it's our responsibility to clean this up and to be that peace first and then take inspired action. It's not enough to sit and do nothing.
No.
Right. So the reverberation of dropping that bomb and the mushroom and all of that, the feeling inside the heart of the planet and inside of humanity is so heartbreakingly wrong. And it's something that is inside every single one of us, even the ones that believe that they're the most peaceful of people. It's all in our DNA, and that is going to be another thing that we're going to be really clearing up and responding to once and for all, because it's not just unacceptable. It's, harm is, it's not only harm to yourself, but harm to others is the most damaging thing in this whole experience, and it's so immature, and I can't even find the words, but the scar, if you like, that has left, and I don't find it a coincidence that you were watching that movie last night, and then I was talking to Michael about it, and we were saying, if we could put this into a poem or a song, how would we convey the feeling that happens and the energy that gets dispersed when you harm another being, let alone you harming yourself. It's that harm that we are going to eradicate out.
So
we have a bit of a clean up to do still, but we'll be doing it a lot quicker than we have been.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. I mean, that was and that's what I was saying earlier. I mean, that was the revenge, retribution. I mean, all those words are leaving now. And that's what I was tuning into last night with her was with Mother Earth was, what does that look like? And she was like showing me, I'm like, well, holy shit, like it totally, like they talk about the axis flip. It was like that.
Yeah.
It was like the axis flip. So if you imagine doing a 180 from conventional wisdom and conventional actions taken or whatever, flip it. And it's mind blowing. I go back to that drawing that you did. That even would serve that drawing too. I mean, I don't know. It creates it's almost like flipping like an hourglass upside down.
It's a different flow, completely different flow.
Yeah.
It changes everything, and that can make your body feel nauseous, of course, and throw a lot off, because it's an intense new energy to flow with our own natural frequency, and getting used to it is something so beautiful, actually.
Yeah.
It really is. But it can be challenging for the body. So,
Well, and I think the other thing too is like Morgan just put up a comment, so I'm not going to but she said, so whether you play it out or not, we hold it in our DNA until we see it, know it, feel it, act it out if necessary. And I think this is part of what's happening too, is just like in that transmission last night, I became that which I detested. I became what I fought against. And the reason I became that is because I thought I was not that. See, so what I'm saying is I think part of the stuff that's happening with the body, and I know it's happening in different ways too, as long as we resist something as being us, we're going to become it to the point, like she's saying, possibly of even acting it out. And until we say, I am that, I wanted to put up a post coming out of this thing. This was at 7:30 in the morning. I mean, the sun's up and I'm still out there dancing and the fire's going. And I thought, wow, how do you, like you and Michael were talking about, how do you put that into, and I was going to just I remember I was going to start it with, I love Joe Biden. I love Donald Trump. And then try to write something in the body of it all, using this particular thing as an example, that no matter what happens, this is what we chose, right? So there is nothing to fight. I am both. And whatever occurs is nobody's fault. This is our creation. And to me, that was like, and I didn't, probably explain it perfectly, but for me, what I'm trying to get to is this pulling that knife out, dropping a sword, actually, and that's where I hit 2 days ago. That's where I hit. I was like, drop the weapons. And there was something inside of me that went, okay, wow, like this is the real power. This is not words. Like I feel this. Like I want to do something. Like, you know what I mean? And again, I don't think that's totally unique to the male incarnation, but it primarily is. The impression on the feminine gender and the masculine gender created certain typical behaviors and patterns in those genders, but all were affected. I'm just trying to relate it from the masculine incarnate journey. But I can tell you that the power that I have come into on a personal level, which I know is not unique to me, the power that's come in is just fucking mind-blowing. It's just, I don't know. It's just like, if I had known all this time, I would have done it a long time ago.
Exactly. Yeah. And I so honor where you're at and how you feel. And, it is like that. It's like, gosh, all this time, you could have dumped it, ages ago, but obviously it wasn't the time to, I feel like everything's just now moving from this day forward. It's just absolutely, it's not perfectly timed. It's my time. It's our time. And it's perfect time because it is our time. It's what we make it from here on in.
Yeah.
In our response. Yeah. We're just firmly in that driver's seat now. And it's so beautiful in the body, and you feel it with the collective building, this celebrating, this coming together, this joining, starting to feel each other more, starting to take responsibility as a collective,
That's another thing. My body became whole today. My body was purging, and since like the 12th, it was a lot of lucid dreams. I do a lot of purging lucid dreams, but my body has certain things that happen to it, and it's gonna be brutal, man. And I'm way past going, oh my God, I need to go to the doctor, because I know, and every time I start to doubt a little bit, it evens out. But today, that was the first thing that came in once I was coherent and I got up, which was not till like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was like, wow, my body is online. And the evidence was very obvious, so that to me is kind of a micro, of what we've been doing and we'll probably continue to do. But yeah, that was a kind of almost like a relief, because I was told in these past few days, you're eating, you're doing this, you're doing that, because this is what's happening to your body. Your body has got to be clear, right? Or clear enough,
Mm.
which I guess it occurred.
Yeah, I had something similar. Yeah, and this morning when I woke up, it had definitely cleared, and yeah, it was just a beautiful clearing that felt a lot easier to flow with. Yeah, and the words were that, I am the Immaculate Conception. We all are,
I am the Immaculate Conception.
Mm.
That just spun me right in a bunch of rhyme. I love that.
Awesome.
Maybe that's what Michael and you were on to. The Immaculate Conception. I need no more direction.
Yeah, rocket.
Perfection. Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing too. Like and I know this is not about Todd either, because there's something that goes along with like what you talked about at the top of the show. Like, we're not reacting, we're responding. And like what I said, like, is it becoming second nature? We're actually being normal, and what happens, what I think is happening anyway, is it explodes creativity. Like, it just explodes it. And I'm sitting here last night listening to music at the fire, and I'm chanting, and I'm rhyming, freestyle, and I'm doing melody, and I'm doing ancient song, and I'm like, whoa, like, I need to go do something. I almost wanted to run in the studio, and I might have tried a couple of times, but it was like, no. This is what's available. This is what's available now. It's like the trees told me last night. They said, we are the living Akashic, and you are us. And I mean, as soon as I saw it, I got this vision of all the roots of the trees all around the earth, and how they have this network, the strongest network of communication and travel. And it was basically like, okay, you can pick this tree here that I was looking at, and you can tap into anything that you want, any of these that you want. So the creativity, to me, is the expansion, and that's what we're doing. We're remixing to create a higher truth and a higher love, and that's what I see. I think the creativity is going to explode in this world.
It is, yeah. I've found it in my own personal space, just absolutely exploding. Recording, writing, song, whatever it is, it's just, and it's just responding to whatever comes into my field that inspires me. It's like that. You're expanding me, I'm expanding you, and then that one line I said to you just made you want to rap.
Yeah.
Just that again, and then who gets to hear that rap is going to run with that, and we're all expanding because of that one, line, and just all feeling it, because we're all connected, and it's so incredible how quickly we can all expand when we're all tapped into that.
Yeah.
To that, our own, source, our own nature. It's just, boom, like you said, it doesn't have to take years. It doesn't have to take, so it's just a matter of tapping into what you've already got and expressing that, responding, not reacting, and just getting on with it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. It's like a combination of stay in your own lane, MYOB, to thine own self be true. And the great thing about it is, like what you were talking about at the top of the show, is when we're doing that, which we're doing that now, it's only going to expand. We actually are the Trinity energy. We actually are equally serving ourselves, our brother and sister, and the collective in one thought, in one word, in one action. And the great thing about it is, it's becoming second nature very quickly.
Yeah.
And I can tell that mostly over the last like October, November, December, through the human interactions that I've had.
Mm.
Like stuff like non-responses, um, not engaging, you know, moving on and leaving it there. Used to, I've had a lot of those experiences as I've evolved and learned not to engage, and I get a lot of responses such as unfriending and messages or what. But what I noticed was that the silence is working, right? Like you're saying what you're saying by not saying anything.
That's how you're responding,
Yeah.
Reacting would be to
Mm.
to do something completely different.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's a fine line between reacting and responding when you are faced with things like that come up against you, and you're like, you sort of have a bit of a look, bit of a squiz, and see if there's anything that needs to be cleared up. If it triggers, you're in reaction. So it's pretty easy, isn't it? I'm
It
triggered.
really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and yeah, we talk about this too, because like you are observing, and you might have to talk a little bit about it in a constructive manner. But as soon as you get to that finish point, you drop it and move on.
Yeah.
And this is another thing I think that's evolved with a significant number of souls, is that it's become, it's becoming natural and second nature to step away from it, to see it for what it is, and not beat the dead horse, and see it for what it is, not take it personal, and then just move on, knowing that in the end of all ends, we all come together. But these personal, I guess the personal externalization, the blame, and all that stuff, that program is not being supported now anyway. So I mean, it's nice to have that burden lifted. In my opinion, it really is.
Imagine the movies that we can make, and
Mhm.
the new TV from a space of that.
They'll be hot. The love stories will be hot. I can tell you that right now.
Right, they will.
It's damn right they will. Holy shit.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
People, you've got sovereign, empowered beings interacting with each other.
Yeah.
What could be more powerful than that?
Yeah.
Or creative.
We show up. Yeah. Which is what we all did. We can never forget that. No matter what you see somebody doing or not doing, whatever they're doing is essential to what you're doing. It's essential, because if that contrast wasn't there, you wouldn't be able to reach whatever levels of light you think you're reaching, But yeah, everybody is more than relevant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and this isn't coming from Todd. To me, this is coming from the universe, the universal family.
Sure, isn't it? It's coming from nature.
Yeah.
We're all part of it.
Yeah.
All incredibly part of it and connected, each expanding each other so intimately. And it's all sacred sex in that,
Mm-hmm.
we're all sacred sex.
It is. It absolutely is. I mean, it is. That's the state where I think we're supposed to be in.
Yeah.
A constant, ecstatic, euphoric, orgasmic state. I mean, that's like that is the creator energy. That's life force.
It is.
So we're gonna celebrate the birth of the golden child with me.
Yeah.
Mm.
Awesome.
It's been a long road, hasn't it?
It has been a long road, but yeah, it's a moment.
But we made it.
We did.
We made it. I love you, Yvania.
I love you too so much. And yeah,
You've been.
thank you for you. Thank you for you and the expansion, you know, for me. And
Yeah. Tell your mom hi.
I will.
I'll see you in 2021.
Oh yeah, give Morgan a big hug for me.
Okay, I'll do
Yeah,
that.
so much love and love to everybody here with us. And as Todd smokes away on that cigar, we celebrate all of us together in our own beautiful nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have an awesome holidays and Christmas, whatever you celebrate. Enjoy.
All right. You take care. See y'all.